and a very warm welcome to my community. I'm Sherwood McCaskie. It is your weekly program that allows Barbadians to share that rich history and heritage of their communities and so enrich the lives of all of us. It is the first production for 2022. As you are aware, quite a lot has happened in the island. My community, of course, congratulates Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley and her team, and it wishes the government well. This week, the spotlight falls on a community in the southern section of the parish of St. Lucy. It's a community in a sense that is emblazoned in many corners of the globe because of a special liquid that is manufactured here and which also carries the name of the community. Interestingly enough, the original name was Mount Gilboa, but Gilboa was dropped in the 1700s as a celebration to Sir John Gay Alleyne. It was replaced with the name Gay, so we have Mount Gay. Douglas Austin lived in Mount Gay for all his life.
I was born in Mount Gay. I don't know nowhere else but Mount Gay. Mount Gay is a village, basically. It is connected to Mount Gay rum refinery or distillery, as some people call it. Most of the older persons who live in Mount Gay would work on the plantation as it goes. Some work on the plantation, some work at the rum refinery. I can go back, their memories of I going to school. We used to walk to school. Bus was a no-no. I had to walk from Mount Gay to Trent's morning, walk back evening, back morning. No, there was a shortcut. We used to go down through Mount Gay Yard, I would say, which would take you down to Churchill. There was a shortcut down to Churchill, and we didn't used to go around the road by Churchill. There's also a shortcut down across the hill, which is no more because the trees have grown up, which will take you down to Fairfield, and then we travel the main road. We may go through Fairfield Yard, which will take us then to Nesfield and then go across, or we go straight down the main road to St. Lucy Church and then go across to the school. It used to be a group of us, sometime maybe 10 or 12 of us, but we find a way to school. I must thank my mom so much because I am the person who I am because of her. My father died when I was 4 years, and my brother was about 3 months. So my mom raised us exclusively. It brings me to the fact that from humble beginnings, where I believe most of Barbados were at the time, right? Parents work hard and work very hard. And those of us who are here today has a privilege, right? There are those who believe that things come easy, but it don't. You have to determine in your mind that you're going to make it. And whatever you set your mind to do or your heart to do, be focused. And if you do that, you'll be successful. I was not fortunate that my mom could give me this and give me that. But whatever she gave me, I was contented and thankful. My mother was Ruby Leota Austin. She was a hard-working woman. She lost her husband when I was 4 years old. She worked on the plantation throughout her life. She used to sell the ground provisions for Mount Gay at one time. She used to sell the yams, sell the potatoes to all the hawkers, etc. She loved God.
I was going to remind you about that.
She loved God. And I remember she telling me at one time I was leaving home. She said, "You gone?" I said, I go in and come back. She said, "God be with you." And she would, listen, every time I remember, it would bring tears to my eyes. She would pray for me in and out. She would pray for Bevan every day in and out. She would pray, I call them by names because they need to know. She would pray for Diane and her children, Daquan and the little girl, in and out. And for my daughter Angie, non-stop. She believed in prayer. We used to leave Mount Gay here. She used to go to church at the Christian Mission Church in Rock Hall. It was 11 o'clock service on mornings, 3 o'clock Sunday school on Sunday evenings. I think it was either 7 or 7:30 service on Sunday nights. And during the week, sometimes it was like Wednesday night service. She may not get to the during the week service too often because of the work, etc. Myself, my cousin Vance, who died, because she used to look after him, my brother Bevan, and my sister by father, Janetta Haley, used to got to leave here and go for to church. Walk through, it wasn't catching a bus, walk through the gully, what was known as Rock Hall Gully. The ending of this main road here is a rough road which takes you on to Pickering Road. When you get onto Pickering Road, you take about 300 meters down, going northwest, and there was a track. You go through that track, that will take you through Rock Hall Gully, right down and back up. And that road used to put you out below May. May incidentally also used to work at Mount Gay also. Cynthia's mother, which would take you right above my former mother-in-law's house. That is Griffith, who's living in Rock Hall. Brenda's mother. And that road would take you then into Rock Hall and you walk across. So it wasn't a good road. It wasn't a good road. I'm talking about roads. I remember the days when this road here, now you see that truck passing, I got to go to the road. We used to got to leave, if you leave home to catch the bus on the main road, you leave home with 2 pairs of shoes. Or a pair of slippers and a pair of shoes. You either walk across with your slippers and put on your good shoes up by the main road, you put them in a plastic bag, put them in your bag, or put them in a plastic bag and hide them in the cans, or do something to get across there. Because when the rain fall, it was trouble getting through there because you had to duck through between the cans or whatever to get through there. So the conditions are a lot better. When this road was being done, I say kudos again to, at that time, Roy Braffett, who fought hard for us to have access to the road in here. My house at the time was a 20 by 10 wooden house with a 10 by 8 kitchen to the back. And I had to move it back. And everybody want, how you can get the house moved back? How you can get the house moved? I said, don't worry about that. Then get the house moved back. Because where the road was coming along, the house was literally on upon the edge of the road. So what I did, I said, no problem. I doing the foundation first. So I get the foundation to the back done, to the height and everything that I wanted. I got some pipe, like 2-inch galvanized pipe, and trench galvanized pipe. I borrowed, I think, 2 or 3 jacks from some friends of mine, carry jacks. Release the house, release the kitchen part first, which was a 10x8, and stay it off. Jack it up off the existing foundation. Put the pipe underneath there and roll it back on the new location. Hear it out. And then we came to the main house. Repeat the same thing. And put the two back together with nails and screws as it was before. And make room for the road. That time I rolled it back we probably rolled it back about 20 to 30 feet. Myself, I think it was a friend of mine named Jefferson, Courtney, who was Mason, and a lot of other guys from the area that used to work with me at the time, and we do that. Today we got a road like anybody else, that anybody could travel. Coming back to Mount Gay, the place we love, you will find people like the Boyces, the Austins, the Roaches, the Sobers. We had a lady named, we used to call her, she was a Sobers, used to live 2 houses away from us, which is Gwen's grandmother, Lottie. All right, she lived over 100 years. If my memory, she was at 104 or 107, I'm not sure, but she lived a good few years.
In the community of Rock Hall, we caught up with Shirley, who, in the words of Douglas, knew the lady who lived a good few years.
Let me tell you about my grandmother. Her name was Carlotta Sobers, better known as Lottie. She lived just there in Mount Gay, yeah. She lived to 107 years and 8 months. And she worked at Mount Gay Plantation until she was 99 to 99 or 100 years old. My grandmother, when she died at 107, she had all her memories, everything she could remember. She could even thread a needle at a certain age, and she liked to tickle her snuff and her port wine and her falernum. She loved those. I can remember she giving me snuff one time. I had a cold. I went to visit her and I had this cold, and she gave me this snuff. Oh Lord, I couldn't stop from sneezing. She would wear her socks and her shoes and her hat. She would tie up her head. She would tie up her head with her hat, and she would wear her pumps and her socks, and she would tie a crocus bag around her waist. And she would go on her ground and she would pick her peas. She had banana peas. She had banana trees and pea trees, and she would pick her bananas and her peas. She could even cook for herself at a certain age. Dr. Carl Watts wrote a chapter in a book named Side by Side. You know about that? Okay.
Her daughter, who died within recent times, which is Gwen's mother, she lived to a long age too. She was close to 100. So we still have a lot of people who lived, even though they worked hard and very hard. And there was the Jordans. I remember the Jordans who used to work at Mount Gay Plantation, right? Cutting canes. That was Courage Jordan, right on, Courage Jordan, and I think his brother Sonny Jordan, which is Mark's father. There was Sobers, which was Courtney's father. The connection between the Mount Gay village and the plantation, the Mount Gay village and the rum refinery and distillery. We had Mr. Nichols, Ruby Nichols, who was the head mechanic at Mount Gay for years, and his son, Mervyn Nichols, who also worked there with him, and eventually he was a mechanic. He went on to the driving, and he drove tractor, trailer. The last thing he drove was one of the big trucks, taking canes to the factory. He died here recently within probably a few years. It was a cousin of mine, Samuel Vance, who also worked there. He died a few years ago too. He was a mechanic. So there's always a connection between the Mount Gay plantation and the Mount Gay village and the Mount Gay rum distillery. All the lands around here basically is owned by Mount Gay. There used to be canes, corn, potatoes, you name it. And you talk about potatoes. We don't see no sweet potatoes now. I remember like coming up to bank holidays and people have dug the potatoes because what would happen, they would dig the potatoes, leave the field for a little while, and you'll find the potatoes sprouting up. When they come now to plow the ground, plow the field, you would get bags and bags of potatoes. And I'm talking about good potatoes, nothing scaggy, no, yeah, Sean, no, nothing that crack up. Big potatoes. I remember my mom told me that they were plowing the field and she wanted to get some potatoes. At that time, she had a bicycle. And I took her bicycle and what we used to call crocus bags. About 4 crocus bags, and I went down. And when I left there, I left at least about 3 crocus bags of sweet potatoes, and they talk about good sweet potatoes. Those are the memories that I have of the surrounding area, and not only that, it wouldn't be only my one, you know. All the young guys and girls around who was of age that could go and fetch for the parents would do that, and it didn't take nothing of us to do it. Because I don't know how our parents did it. They then went to the 2 and 3 schools. But I can say they were one of the greatest economists around. You can imagine working on a plantation sometime and the amount of money that you take home. I end up there not even $20. And you got 2 and 3 children to feed, nobody else to give you nothing. When I first went to the Polytechnic, and my mother insisted that I go, I said, but Mommy, where will we find the money from to send me to the Polytechnic? At that time, my brother was going to school at the Seventh-day Adventist school, and she was paying for him. And all the women look at me and tell me, God will provide. I said, well, tell me, I don't understand it, because I was then probably about 16, 18, around there. I said, I don't understand it. All she said, God will provide. And you know that my mom made sure that I went to the Polytechnic. And I graduated from the Polytechnic and even went to secondary school. I don't know how she did it, but she worked and she worked hard, and that's how she survived. And my growing up in Mount Gay, we didn't have much, but we made a lot from the little we had.
Those stories are repeated throughout the island. In fact, in every traditional Barbadian community, you are sure to find someone who will echo those same sentiments. During the recording, Douglas identified every household in the community and detailed their exact location. However, in the interest of time, we are unable to take you on that tour. But more importantly, he details the history of land ownership here in the Mount Gay community. You will recognize that it has its genesis in what is regarded as one of the more transformative pieces of legislations ever passed in the Barbados' Parliament.
And Perla has a son that lives above her, Avery. Right? But what I think what happened here also is because of the Tenantry Freehold Act, persons in Mount Gay were able to purchase the land similar to other places, where they only paid 10 cents per square foot. So I think we need to give kudos to Prime Minister Tom Adams, who introduced that, which helped us to enhance our situation. You get a piece of land, you own a little property. You can go to the bank and borrow a few dollars on that property. Or you can do like a lot of us did. You buy some blocks this month. You buy some stones in February. You buy some sand in March. And you buy the cement in April. So in May, you're ready to build. All right, fellas, are you ready to build? The carpenter from the district can come and give you a hand. The mason from the area can come and give you a hand. And you can get your house up. When the next person time comes around, everybody chip in. And that's how most of the houses in the village area was constructed. And a lot of them are still standing. They were not engineers, but the knowledge that they acquire in the construction field and putting it to practice and coming like a community, holding together like an organization and working together enhance the community. I must give kudos also to Mount Gay Rum Refinery and Distillery. The signs out to the front, the billboard for the shop in the back, was sponsored by them, my understanding. The palm trees to the entrance was sponsored by them. And they still maintain the area. They cut the grass and maintain it. These palm trees at the front, I plant them myself, I maintain those, because it's still keep the place, the area good. So it's a matter of looking out for your area and for your community. So it would be remiss of me not to give kudos to Mount Gay for being a good corporate citizen. I've known that they've done other things other places, but they've stood the ground and helped us in the area to that effect. Someone may argue that there's a lot more to be done and could be done. But if I maintain the area in front of me, the next two houses across maintain the area in front of them, the whole area will be cleaned up. And I don't wait for nobody to come the time that the road won't clear. I purpose in myself that if I need to hire a bobcat to clear the road coming across here, I will do it. I'm not going to sit back and expect the government to do everything, because you just can't. If your hands full, your hands full. But if me and my neighbor and my friend and anybody else in the community and the different organizations in different communities come together and everybody do a little bit at a time, we will get forward. We in Barbados can stand our ground. We know what it takes. We've done it before. And we'll do it again. Yes, COVID is with us. We accept that. But because that COVID is with us, we're not going to throw our hands in the air and play dead. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. So whatever it takes for we at the ground level to do, we got to do it. And I am very proud to be in Mount Gay. So Mount Gay, I owe everything to Mount Gay. I will always remember Mount Gay. I could have done like a lot of people. Just move out and go somewhere else. But for what? I prefer stay in Mount Gay so I can help people in Mount Gay.
Wouldn't it be pleasing if every community member all across Barbados felt that way about his or her community. What an even more wonderful Barbados this would be. Thank you very much, Douglas. I'm Sherwood McCaskie. This has been my community, Mount Gay, St. Lucie. Goodbye.